Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist James Longworth, and today is a great day. We have finally hit 1,000 subscribers on our channel, so thank you guys so much. Today, we're going to be continuing to talk about this next upcoming major winter storm. You can already see that disturbance is moving through parts of the Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley region today that we were mentioning in yesterday's video before this next upcoming major winter storm. This winter storm is going to be bringing the potential for snow, sleet, and freezing rain conditions that will impact parts of the central plains into parts of the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast by early next week. Heavy snowfall will fall across parts of the Great Basin region, the Central and Southern Rockies, and even parts of California and the Sierra and the Cascade Mountain regions further into the Northwest. Heavy rain conditions are expected to fall across parts of the Tennessee Valley region, parts of the central Mississippi Valley region within the next couple of days. And we're also going to be monitoring the potential for some severe weather that's going to affect parts of the south central United States and lower Mississippi Valley today into tomorrow. But before we get into today's video, I do want to encourage you guys to hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends and family so we can help make them weather aware and help let this channel grow. Also, be sure to check us out on social media where you can send us your weather related photos and videos that we'd love to share in future and upcoming videos. The links to our social media pages can be found down below in that description. You can also check us out online at dynamicweatheragency.com for more weather related information and content. And last but not least, be sure to check out our Patreon page to help support this channel so I can continue to make weather-related videos like this or storm chasing videos like you see down below, and fund some of the research we have going on here at Dynamic Weather Agency, LLC. Again, we have many exclusive content, perks, and early access for our Patreon subscribers. You can find the link down below in the description. So getting into today's video, taking a look at that current national Doppler radar, we see that disturbance that's moving through parts of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley region that we were talking about yesterday in our previous video. It's bringing some of that snowfall with some of that mixed precipitation further to the south in southern Illinois, southern Indiana, impacting parts of northern Kentucky today, where we're seeing a little bit of freezing rain conditions. Looking back further to the west, to the northwest, we have that low pressure system off of the northwest coast that's bringing some of the rain conditions to places like Portland and Seattle this morning, with some of that snowfall occurring in some of those higher elevations this morning in parts of the Cascades and the Olympic Mountain region. As we take a look further to the south near Phoenix and Arizona, we do have some this little disturbance of this low pressure system that's developing on over that area that's bringing some rain conditions further to the south of Phoenix, but further to the north in the Mongolian Rim and Colorado Plateau, we're beginning to see some of those snow conditions on over in that region today, this morning. Now, as we take a look at our national forecast, pretty much what we were saying in the last slide, we're expecting to the south and the southeast of the United States, we're expecting some rain and some severe storm conditions. Those severe storms are going to be impacting, like we said, parts of the south central U.S. and the lower Mississippi Valley, heavy rain conditions, parts of the Tennessee and the central Mississippi Valley region. Further to the north, we're expecting to see some of that snowfall with that major winter storm with the heaviest snow stretching from parts of Kansas into parts of northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin region, with that snow system eventually moving its way into the upper mid-Atlantic and the northeast. Now, as we take a look at further to the west of the Rockies, we're pretty much going to see some mountain snow conditions, with snowfall occurring in some of those higher elevations in those areas, affecting parts of the Sierras, the Cascade Mountain region, the Olympics, and even to parts of, like we said, the Mongolian Rim, and even into parts of the Colorado Plateau, and parts of the Rocky Mountain region and parts of Colorado. We can expect to see those mountain snow conditions, and then with some of that cold air that's pushing on in and that low pressure system kind of moving on through, we will probably see some of the snowfall and some of those accumulations in some of those lower elevations, though, as noted in Nevada and parts of Washington and Oregon. So getting into this next upcoming major winter storm, the first thing we're going to be talking about is these current National Weather Service winter weather watches, warnings, and advisories. Those pinks we have are those winter storm warnings. As you can see, we have those winter storm warnings affecting parts of Arizona, Nevada, and even the parts of California, with those purple colors indicating those winter weather advisories and effects surrounding those winter storm warnings. And then those dark indigo colors, those bluish colors, those are those winter storm watches. We can see further in California, in the Sierra Nevada region, we do have those winter storm watches in effect. As we move into the Central Plains and the Great Lakes region, you can see those winter storm watches in that indigo and bluish color affecting places like North Platte, Cedar Rapids, LaSalle, Peoria, Rockford, all within that winter storm watch currently in effect for this region. In those winter storm warnings, those pinks, Hays, Kansas, Grand Island, Nebraska, Omaha, Des Moines, all within those winter storm warnings currently in effect with those winter weather advisories surrounding that region. You can see those winter weather advisories further to the north in Wisconsin. Again, this is for that disturbance that was moving on through earlier today. It's now pushing its way through Michigan and Indiana, moving its way into Ohio currently right now, as we saw on our current national radar earlier this morning. As we take a look at our winter storm severity index, like I said, that was Wisconsin where those advisory level criteria is, where we have those minor impacts on our winter storm severity index. That is due to that system that has already pushed its way on through, as we saw on our radar, and Michigan, Indiana, moving its way into Ohio, bringing some of that snowfall and that wintering precipitation further to the south. In Arizona, in the Mongolian Rim, Colorado Plateau region, minor moderate impacts due to the heavy snowfall that's going to begin to start to fall across that region today. You can see some of those minor impacts in parts of the Cascades and some areas of the Sierra Nevada mountain region today. But as we move into day 2, this is tomorrow, Monday, you can see across parts of the Central Plains, affecting parts of Kansas, into parts of, Iowa, into parts of northern Illinois. We have those moderate to major impacts due to that significant snow accumulation that we can see across this area, where some of these areas can see up to 8 to 12 inches of snow with some isolated higher amounts, as you'll see later on as we begin to talk about our snowfall forecast. Down in the Mongolian Rim, Colorado Plateau region, parts of Arizona, you can see those very high impacts, again moderate major impacts, with some of the heavy snow that we can see in that area. With some of these areas, you can see 16 to 24 inches of snow, with some areas seeing even higher amounts, up to 2 feet of snow, as you'll see later on in our video. Again, some of those impacts impacting parts of Nevada, those moderate impacts, and even in parts of the Sierra Nevadas, again on day 2. This is Monday. As we move into Tuesday, Arizona, again, is going to see those minor to moderate impacts, Mongolian Rim, Colorado Plateau region. But as we move into parts of the Central Plains, into the Midwest, Great Lakes region, again, you can see that minor to moderate impacts stretching basically all the way across from Nebraska to southern Michigan, and then we're starting to see those impacts starting to impact parts of the Northeast as the system continues to move its way on through, affecting places like, Pennsylvania, where we can see some, significant snow accumulation, or excuse me, not significant snow accumulation, but snow accumulation, basically 1 to 3 inches, with basically the area in that yellow, basically that could see up to 3 to 5 inches of snowfall with this system. As we talk about this, you might be wondering, what do those minor, moderate, and major impacts really equate to? Well, those minor impacts roughly equate to those NWS advisory level criteria that we were seeing in our National Weather Service watch warnings and advisory map that we're showing. And those primarily, will cause some disruptions to people who are not prepared for this event, with minimal recovery time needed, due to the snowfall and the recovery efforts that these areas have in place. Now, those moderate impacts roughly equate to those NWS warning level criteria. Those will impact people with little preparation, perhaps a day or two recovery time for those roads to be plowed and treated and stuff like that within these areas. But those major impacts, those are significant impacts that will impact people even with preparation, that typically could result into several days of recovery time for snow and ice accumulations to subside in those regions. Now, not only is major heavy snowfall going to be a factor with this event, we're also going to be looking for the potential for some icing stretching all the way across from Kansas into parts of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and even to parts of the Appalachian Mountain regions and parts of West Virginia, and southern Pennsylvania. As we take a closer look, this model is suggesting, a few hundredths of an inch to even maybe a tenth of an inch of ice accretion affecting parts of this region, stretching all the way from Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, into Ohio. And then you can see those higher ice accretion values that could be expected in parts of West Virginia, southern Pennsylvania, and some of the Appalachian Mountain region with some of those higher elevations. This is the National Weather Service blended model solution. But as we take a look at the National Weather Service forecast for this, again, they're expecting to see a little bit on the lower end, about a few hundredths of an inch. They do have a couple areas of a tenth of an inch accretion with this, but they are expecting those higher accretion values in the higher elevations of those mountain regions of the Appalachian Mountains in that West Virginia, southern Pennsylvania region. So taking a look at our Futurecast radar, a high-resolution Futurecast radar, the Great Lakes region, Ohio Valley, we do have that snow stretching from Michigan down through Indiana, with some of that freezing rain conditions occurring in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, with some rain further to the south. The Four Corners region, Colorado Plateau, Mongolian Rim, we're going to see some snow conditions around that area this morning and even as we move throughout the day. And then along the Pacific Northwest, we have that low-pressure system off the west coast, bringing rain to that area and snowfall to the Cascade Mountain region. As we continue throughout the day, you can see that snow across the Great Lakes region, Ohio Valley, continuing its way through the, to the east, rain further to the south. Four Corners region, Colorado Plateau, Mongolian Rim, still going to see those snowfall conditions as we move throughout the day. And we see that snow continuing to increase across the Cascades and into the Sierra Nevadas. But as we move Sunday into Monday, you can see our next low pressure system begin to develop, that severe weather across Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. But that next major winter storm is going to begin to develop, bringing some of that freezing rain conditions across Kansas, Missouri as we move into the morning hours on Monday, affecting some of the morning commutes, snowfall, wrapping around that low pressure system with the cold pool of air. But this low pressure system is going to be bringing this nice pool of moisture out ahead of the surface front. You can see, this nice plume of moisture that's going to develop ahead of it. We're going to have some isentropic ascent across ahead of the warm front with this, moisture wrapping around the deformation zone into the comma head, allowing for some very heavy snowfall, which we're going to have some increased ascent in this area too, due to the vortmax and some nice frontogenesis that's going to be, happening as this low pressure system begins to develop and undergo cyclogenesis. As the system continues to move its way off to the north and to the east, you can see that snowfall begin to stretch its way into parts of Kansas, Nebraska, even into parts of Iowa as we move out throughout the day on Monday. You can see that freezing rain conditions stretching from Illinois through Indiana and Ohio, and even to the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountain regions and parts of West Virginia, and even to parts of southern Pennsylvania as we move out through Monday. But as we move Monday into Tuesday, you can see that snowfall begin to move its way into parts of the northeast and some of that lingering snow further to the west up in the central plains. So now as we take a look at our snowfall forecast, we're taking a look at the European model. This is the European model solution for the next 72 hours for snowfall. European model suggesting this nice swath of 8 to 12 inches of snow stretching all the way from Kansas through Nebraska, Iowa to northern Illinois, affecting parts of Lake Michigan. Looks like places like Chicago and even parts of like Gary, Indiana. Further to the west, southwest, to like the southwest of Four Corners region, you can see that heavy snowfall expected to fall across parts of, Arizona, the Mongolian Rim, and that transition zone to the Colorado Plateau. And again, the Cascades, the Olympic Mountains, the Sierra Nevadas. You can see some of those very high snowfall totals across this region too. As we take a look at the GFS model, still similar to the European model, a little bit different within the snowfall across parts of the Central Plains, a little bit on the track and the, extending the heavier snowfall a little bit further to the north in parts of Iowa. But other than that, the models are, rather consistent. The GFS model is painting a little bit higher snowfall totals in this Nebraska and Kansas area, but overall model consistency for further to the west of the Rockies looks rather similar with the European model. The UK Met, again, still rather good model consistency. UK, European, GFS with the track of the system, rather the same. Snowfall totals still rather the same. You can see, within the European model and even the UK Met, the lower resolution as we have compared to the GFS model. But again, west of the Rockies, good model consistency. Arizona, that Mongolian Rim to the the Colorado Plateau region, you can see those very high snowfall totals within that region. Again, that nice swath, 8-12 inches of snow possible, stretching from Kansas to parts of northern Illinois, GFS, UK Met, and European. As we take a look at the National Weather Service blended models, again, seeing that same consistency. UK, GFS, European, National Weather Service blended models, all, kind of lining up with each other. Again, see that nice big swath, 5 to basically 12 inches of snow. They're showing some isolated 12 to 16 inches of snow. That could be a little bit overdoing it, but like we said, could be in yesterday's video, we could see some isolated up to 15 inches of snow. And last but not least, taking a look at the National Weather Service's actual forecast. Again, consistency. They're showing, very good consistency because the models are consistent, with showing that nice swath, 5, 8 to 12 inches of snow that could be possible, stretching from that Kansas to northern Illinois. Again, they're showing that very high snowfall that could affect parts of Arizona, that Mongolian Rim area, and then you can see those high snowfall totals expected for parts of the Sierra Nevadas and the Cascade Mountain region, and even parts of the northern Rockies and the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. You can see those high snowfall totals within that region. Now, taking a look at one of the ensembles, this is the European ensemble for the probability of snow greater than 6 inches. And, like we said, we're expecting that one area, that 8 to 12 inches swath, Kansas to northern Illinois. Here's the probability of snowfall greater than 6 inches within that region. And you can see some of those, probabilities 65 to, basically 95% within that region. So the possibility to see greater than 6 inches of snow within that region is rather high. And then, as we were talking about that area in Arizona, the Mongolian Rim and those Sierra Nevadas, Cascades, you can see those very high probabilities for snowfall totals to exceed 6 inches within that region, with those areas up near that 99.9%. Now, taking a look at our in-house model for the next 72 hours for snowfall, you can see we have that nice big swath of snow stretching from Kansas all the way up through Illinois, those high snowfall totals in parts of the Four Corners region, the Arizona, the Mongolian Rim, and those Cascades and the Sierra Nevada mountain region. So you take a closer look into parts of California, the Sierra Nevada, Cascades region, you can see those high snowfall totals, 12 to 16 inches in those dark purples, and those 16 to 24 inches, in those, pink values, with, even, north of Redding, California, you can see that, even that lighter pink value indicating those areas that can see greater than 2 feet of snowfall within those regions. Again, talking about, Arizona, take a look at those snowfall totals, those very, bright pink values, 16 to 24 inches, with some areas seeing up to 2 feet of snow down there in that Mongolian Rim and the Colorado Plateau. Just incredible snowfall amounts within that region, which is why we're seeing those winter storm severity indexes so high in this area. Now, as we move into the Central Plains, Northeast, this is, again, a model solution showing, some of those 8 to 12 inches of snow stretching all the way from, parts of Kansas, Nebraska, into parts of, Iowa, affecting places like Omaha, Des Moines, Grand Island, Nebraska, Hayes, Kansas, all within that 8 to 12 inches of snow with this next coming major winter storm. Again, you can also see this model is painting some of those darker purples of those isolated 12 to 16 inches. And we mentioned that yesterday in our video where we weren't seeing those, darker purples, but we could see those isolated areas up to 15 inches of snow. And we were talking about that area of 8 to 12 inches. We expect that to probably be stretched, across the areas. It had 2 areas of kind of those, 8 to 12 inches of snow. And now we're starting to see that with the model. So our forecast is starting to, agree more with, these models as we, continue to modify our forecast and, enhance our forecast to be better than the models are actually showing. Taking a look at our hand-drawn forecast for the next 72 hours. Again, we have that nice area of 8 to 12 inches of snow that we stretch across that area that we had yesterday that the models weren't 100% showing with our in-house model, but some of the models like the European and GFS were suggesting some of that stuff. With those isolated higher amounts up to 15 inches of snow within that area. Again, around that we have that nice big swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow stretching all the way from very eastern Colorado into parts of northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, even stretching into parts of Michigan, affecting places like Chicago, Gary, Indiana. You can see just that little small area of 5 to 8 inches of snow in western Michigan, with some possible lake enhancement within that area. With this heavy accumulating snowfall, this could cause some poor visibility with some of those intense snow bands that we could see moving through the region, and some travel disruptions with that. Further to the south of that 3 to 5 line, basically affecting parts of Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, we could see some ice accumulation in those areas of a few hundredths of an inch to a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation. Again, that's going to cause some slippery roads and some travel disruptions, but some of that is not really expected to stick around for very long. Some of these areas are going to transition to rain that could melt some of that ice accumulation within that region. Now, taking a look at severe weather, with this major winter storm, as that system begins to develop in Texas, we are going to be seeing that return of moisture flow and instability into the region that's going to allow for some severe storms in parts of the south central United States and to the lower Mississippi Valley. As we take a look at today, basically this afternoon into the night, we're expecting severe thunderstorms in parts of North Texas, into parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and southern Missouri today, where we could see some damage for some hail and some marginal severe winds. As you can see, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe thunderstorms within that area with a marginal risk around that. Taking a closer look at that slight risk, it affects places like Denton, Texas, Dallas, and even to Paris, Texas. As you take a look around that, places like Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, Fayetteville, even places like Little Rock, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Tyler, Texas, Abilene, all within that marginal risk for severe weather today. And then as we take a look into tomorrow, we're expecting a few severe thunderstorms possible Monday, parts of eastern Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, even affecting parts of southeastern Missouri, and then affecting parts of extreme western Tennessee and Mississippi. And then after Monday, moving into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're not expecting much as in for severe weather. So that's wrapping up our next 5 days for severe thunderstorms. Again, I would like to thank you guys for, checking out today's video. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to this channel for more weather-related videos like this. And share this video with your friends and family so we can help make them weather aware just like we were able to with you. And help let this channel grow. Again, be sure to check us out on social media and our website, dynamicweatheragency.com. We'll have a blog post about this video a little bit later on after this video is published. Again, the links can be found down below in the description. I'm meteorologist James Lonf with Dynamic Weather Agency, LLC, signing off for today's video. You guys have a great day, and again, thank you guys.